Welcome to another live video right here on the uh, channel that I have on the season of significance, what I call prime time. My pledge to make age 50 to 75 the best years of my life. And if you've ever watched any of these things, I'm almost 10 years into that. I'm sliding into 60 in about, I don't know, 125 days, something like that, a little less than that. And I'm really focused on the fact that the past 10 years since I made that declaration to make age 50 to 75 the best years of my life, in a lot of aspects, that has been true. I also went through several years of it not being the best years of my life. And I've talked about that in other formats. But I'm doubling down as I get to 60. That's 15 more years in this cycle. And I think back, you know, people say 15 years, wow, that's not very much. But when I was 25, if you were to say the space from age 25 to 40, that was a long time. And a lot of things happened. A lot of great things happened. I got married. I had my kids. My career took its biggest bump that it ever had. And so that 15-year span, lots of things happened. So I'm not scared of the next 15 years because it's a long time. It's a lifetime in some aspects. However, one of the things I'm doing is I'm trying to regain some confidence. I went through some rough times and my confidence got undermined a little bit, but I'm also trying to sort of fill my own presence. And when I show up, to be fully present for myself, but also for other people. And one of the things I've come to realize is that I've always been in a rush. I always want to jump in. I want to get things done. I want to roll up my sleeves. I want to tell a story. I want to make people laugh. And I'm always in a hurry to do all of those things and so many more. And so one of the things I'm going to work on in this next little phase here is slowing down. Because when I look at the people who I admire, the people who I see that others are drawn to, the people who fill the space, not in a cocky, SOB, arrogant kind of way, but the people who you think, yeah, I'm drawn to them. They typically embrace the pause. They don't rush into the room. When they walk into a room, they look around for a minute. They don't have to beeline up to somebody. They don't have to be the center of attention. They can hang a little bit. And so I'm really trying to learn, how do I slow down as I go into this next phase? And I think that's a really good lesson for those of us who are embracing this getting older. I see a lot of people who, God, they're scared of getting older. They won't admit it. I talked to somebody the other day who's about to turn 60. They're my same age, and they're lying about their age. They don't want to admit their age. And I said, I know how old you are. We grew up together. And they're like, no, I can't give in to age. I actually don't think you cannot give in to age. And so I'm just going to slow down and enjoy the ride. And I'm going to try and change how I show up in the presence that I bring for myself and for other people. And I think this is a piece of advice that I want to share in this video. And I'll probably do a bunch of videos on the fact of, who's someone you really admire, who you think, God, people are drawn to that person. And just look at their traits, make a list of them. And I think you'll find that in a lot of cases, it's not the person who's going really fast. And if you go back and watch a lot of my videos, I talk really fast. I'm kind of animated. I think the time has come to enjoy the ride a little bit more, to slow myself down and to pause and to be present and to just think. And so that's going to be what I'm going to work on now for the next few weeks in every interaction that I have, is how can I slow down? I think that as we get older, that's one of the things we should enjoy. We've earned the right to slow down. So if you watched any of these videos, I'm trying every week to go live for a couple of reasons. One is I really want to get other people on board on this whole idea of make age 50 to 75 the best years of your life. I want to show by the good and the not so good things that are happening in my world that you can get through it and you can soar. And you can, achieve things. I've struggled. I've had some financial setbacks. The pandemic wasn't kind to my bank account or my career. I've made some decisions that I wish I could do differently. But along the way, those are just part of my journey. And there's nothing that says that in 15 years, you couldn't, earn a lot of money. You couldn't make a fortune. You couldn't achieve whatever you want to achieve. Going back to that example of somebody who's 25, if you were to tell them that from 25 to 40, they're going to achieve amazing things, nobody would question it. Everybody would be like, yeah, that's about right. So there's nothing different from 60 to 75. And even 50 to 60, it didn't work out great, but it still falls into the best days of my life because I've really come to understand who I am a lot more. And I think sometimes we have to go through those hard knocks and stand in the presence of our own failures to be able to say, yeah, it's okay. I'm just going to learn from this and I'll build on the foundation of the BS that happened. And I won't let it happen again the same way. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to have a shitstorm happen to me in the next 15 years. I'm sure that there's going to be some super negative things that happen, but I'm going to learn from those too. And I'm going to keep growing and I'm going to achieve some big stuff. And part of that is going to be, I'm going to achieve how to just enjoy the ride a little bit more. I think I always was looking 2 steps ahead. I think I always was comparing myself too much to other people. And I really want to enjoy the rest of this ride. And finally, I'll wrap it up with this. People always go 50 to 75. Tom, your dad lived to be 99 years old. You got 25 more years after 75. And that's right. And you know what? I'll cross that bridge when I get to it, and I'll come up with a whole new analogy of how to ride out that phase. But I think 50 to 75, I think it's an interesting phase in being a human. And I think when I was a kid, you looked at anybody in that stage as, well, that was the end. They were old. The average lifespan was 72 years old for somebody who was born in my dad's era. And he outlived that by almost 30 years. So who knows what's going to happen? I think the average lifespan is now closer to 80 for someone my age. Great. I'm going to write it. I'm going to explore it. I'm going to see what happens. And if I make it to 70, great. 80, great. 90, great. 100, great. I don't know that I want to go much beyond 100. I've seen these people who are over 100 and it doesn't look like it's the greatest days of your life, but I'm going to slow down and enjoy whatever happens. For now, I'm going to focus on the next 15 years. And I hope you'll come along on the journey, whatever age you are. It's never too early to decide you're going to make now till whenever the best days of your life. It's your prime time.